In this video, I will talk about this region. It's pretty much Indonesia. Michael Button has a very recent video about this region, and I will pick up somehow from his video. This image is from a video of Stefan Milo. This is a pig, and this are humans hunting the pig, and it's also in Sulawesi in Indonesia. And as you can see, he probably interprets as if this would be from Neanderthals. But I will argue it's from modern humans.
This is from the video of Stefan Milo, and this again is Sulawesi. This is the rock with the pig and the humans hunting it, rock painting. Southern Sulawesi, Indonesia. I intend to speak about this place with a fossil found over 1 million years old. This place in China with fossils found over 1 million years ago in China is more or less located here between the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. More or less here. So these rivers, the Yangtze River is the third longest river in the world. This is also an important and long river. So in some way, this location is closer to the Yangtze River and is exposed to the Americas, because this is the Pacific and the Americas are east of it. These are jars, there are thousands in Sulawesi, and I will talk about these jars and this lid and what you see on the lid. I will also talk about these kind of stones, megaliths, human figures, Sulawesi, again, Bada Valley. This is only 5,000 years. Now all places are in the Ring of Fire. This is the Ring of Fire, or are exposed to the Ring of Fire. For instance, this is the Yangtze River. That pretty much reaches until Tibet. The major active volcanoes are these red stars. So, first locate where Michael Button is talking about. He's talking about Sulawesi, here. That is where Stefan Milo also is talking about. The pig with the hunters in a rock painting. And the jars are here. There's also jars in Laos, obviously also exposed to the Ring of Fire and to the Pacific and to the Americas. So Stefan Milo and Michael Button talk about Sulawesi. It's the thing with the legs, island of course. Right to Borneo. This is Java, and in Java over 100 Homo erectus fossils were found that range from 100 so much to close to 2 million years old. And then China, we have this site with a skull that has Homo sapiens traits of 1 million years old. Then Michael Button will talk about Flores. It's a bit hard for me to see, it must be more or less here. It's, anyhow, that's quite important, it's to the right of the Wallace line. So Java is to the left, so in the Ice Ages is part of Sundaland, and Sulawesi is not. So it's separated from Eurasia and from Sundaland. So a crossing of an open sea with a very strong drift, deadly drift, because it will drift you in the Indian Ocean, in the cold part of it. So what is pretty much key in our video and in our view is that life originated, humans, modern humans originated in the Amazon forest in South America. All ancestral markers point to it. Even Neanderthals, which some will say that are not modern humans, and we will claim they are modern humans because they have identical DNA. They only underwent a different methylation, which made them morphologically different. So, okay, modern humans and all archaics, or all early archaics, originated in the Amazon forest and South America. And in the whole human history, Peru plays an important role. It's in the Ring of Fire. It has volcanoes. Ecuador has several volcanoes. It's in the Ring of Fire. And Colombia is in the Ring of Fire and has volcanoes. We all know that Central America played a role, but we don't bother it right now. Then we're talking about this region. Again, it's in the Ring of Fire and it has volcanoes. Okay, so our claim is life originated in forest, in a very specific form of forest, which we call a carbon agroforest. It has what they call terra preta soils, and the scientific name is Amazon dark earth soils. Only the Amazon forest has them. Okay, so this is the origin. It is kind, or was, a kind of horn of abundance, and it was kind of paradise even of the Bible. We claim the image of Adam and Eve with the apple and the trees and the snake is based on the Amazon forest, on carbon agroforest practices, which created a kind of horn of abundance so much that they could expand to the rest of the world, that they could people the rest of the world. Part of it is indirectly. Mesopotamia will play a role. India certainly plays a role, etc. Egypt and the Mediterranean play a role. Israel plays a role, etc. But primary, it's about the Amazon forest or the Ring of Fire. How on earth is this part connected with Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia? It's half of the world. The circumference of the planet at the height of the equator is 40,000 kilometers, so this is half. This is roughly 20,000 kilometers. How on earth are they connected? Well, Michael Button also has videos that a certain signal is found in the Americas, and it's found again, and that's pretty much this region. So genetically, they were connected. So, but in practice, how are they connected? With this 20,000 kilometers. To be able to give you some answers how these two places are connected, we go to the currents and the gyres. There's 4 important gyres, 2 in the northern hemisphere and 2 in the southern hemisphere. For us, that is the gyre that matters most. So how are they connected? The ancestral markers tell us that modern humans, also all archaics, including Neanderthals, originate in the Amazon forest or in South America or in the Americas. So you see that this is more or less Peru, Ecuador, Colombia. This is the trip that Thor-Heyerdahl made, risking his life to prove his theory, which in fact is what I'm telling you. Except that we today have much more information than Thor-Heyerdahl had. This is the current. This is one of the strongest currents. 100 times all rivers of the world combined. It throws everything from Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. It throws it without hesitation on the part we are talking about. Also, China. Japan we didn't mention. Korea we didn't mention. Mongolia we didn't mention. They're all very important. And you see this current is more or less trapped. Trapped because in the Ice Age, this Africa is connected with Eurasia, and this is Sundaland, and this is Sahul, and this is like a closed continent. The only thing that is not in it is the Americas, because Africa is somehow in it, because it's connected with Eurasia. So anyhow, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, throw on Sulawesi, Java, Flores. So pretty much everything we're talking about throws on the Yangtze River, over 1 million year old fossils. It also throws the signal Y group here in this same region. So they are perfectly connected by this. Okay, so one more detail. So let's say they chose this route and they would turn back to North America. So we know in the Ring of Fire there are volcanoes and there's very resource-rich mining possible. And in several videos we claim that Archaics are related to mining, pretty much in the first place. Pretty much 100% of all Neanderthals are found in ancient or modern mines. Well, modern mines, if you don't know about their ancient history, they are mines today. And we, of origin for existence, we connect them to modern humans. They are the working class of modern humans. That will be received with a lot of skepticism at best, but it's quite evident. And so, okay, they mine where the volcanoes show up, and it will deliver in the places where the fossils are found. And the fossils are associated with modern humans and with very old cultures. We all know that. Very old cultures. Very old haplogroups too. So they can turn back and do this trip over again, and they can serve North America. But it's more of our interest to what happens here. So here is Mungu Lake with Mungu man and Mungu woman, and it's served. We also have 50, 60,000 years old fossils, pretty much here. So they are shown here. There's always, even in ice ages, there's a passage. They should have to navigate close to the coast to not be picked up by this current, because we bring them back. And once they are here, they are in this current, and they could serve New Zealand, and they can go back. So whatever they carry, they are on a fast track to Peru, Ecuador, Colombia. So they get out, just as Thor-Heyerdahl did. They mine, others mine, the miners stay in place. So Sulawesi is one of the locations. So they have nothing to do. Well, Sulawesi and Flores and several others, also in New Zealand, there's archaeological sites, and obviously there is Mungu man in Australia, there's others. And they operate quite independent. So here it's easy to turn back. Here or here. Turn back Peru, Ecuador, Colombia. And they can reach Australia, they can reach Sulawesi, they can reach Java, at least from this side. Anyhow, they can reach the whole of Sundaland. And in fact, that is Eurasia. It's an extension of Eurasia, and in some way it's connected with Africa. So that's for now, but they can slip through. I said about navigating close to the coast to get here, to get in the current. But they could make this turn, and then they don't have to navigate close to the coast. And there's a clear connection between this region and Madagascar, and you see why. You see why it's an obvious highway, never stopping highway. So Madagascar is genetically closer to this region, and this region is genetically very close, even in the deep past, millions of years ago, with South America and the Amazon forest, Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. So this was a superficial approach.